Hello. It is good to be here with you. And I am excited to really turn a different page, so to speak, in this YouTube journey because I want to start a different kind of a series with this video today. It's much more experimental in the sense that up until this point, I have been bringing lots of content really from my expertise in coaching, specifically around career coaching for, mid-career professionals who find themselves stuck and unable to figure out how to move forward, and retirement's not the immediate option. So I've brought lots of content on that topic, and it's all in the YouTube library for you, should that be of interest. But today, what I want to do is really start a new series on an approach to my own life. So this is sort of that, instead of me telling you about, sharing my expertise in the career coaching space and how to get unstuck, I want to take you along with me on my own journey of getting unstuck from, I guess it's not quite the same unstuck in terms of career because I'm very confident that I know what I'm doing in that direction for myself, but it's really getting unstuck from more of a balanced perspective, which I know from my clients is also part of the stuck process. And so I thought, gosh, let's do this together. So let's do this together. So what I want to give to you today is a little bit of the backstory leading up to this, and then tell you about what I am planning to do so that you, if this is of interest to you, can ride along with me and maybe try this experiment with me at the same time. I didn't introduce myself. I am Jeanette, the Northbound Coach, and I'm so glad that you are here with me today. So what's the backstory on this? Well, the backstory is that just essentially in early part of 2023, I was coming to terms with that my 15 years within a higher ed institution, and really some fabulous opportunities along the way of those 15 years, that I was feeling stuck myself. And so I had to figure out what was going to get me unstuck. And the short story on this, because we can dive into this in a different video, and I've talked a little bit about it previously, was the end point for me was realizing that I wanted to jump out on my own, build my own business, really focused around helping others in a one-on-one sort of a format, as I do with my coaching business. And I already mentioned, where my specialty is in there, etc. So I have been working on building that business since, halfway through 2023, essentially, was the starting point of that. And part of what caused me to say, I want to do something different, there was a mixture in, what was going on for me that felt out of balance. So I was doing work, thinking about work when I wasn't working, not a lot of, I don't know that I can say that I really feel like there's work-life balance per se, but the integration for me of work and other things in my life just wasn't feeling integrated. It was feeling very much like work was it, and there was just a small slight seasoning, if you want to put it that way, of the things that were non-work related. So that's back in 2023 as the issue. So I think, okay, I'm going to solve that by, getting greater flexibility and having my own business. And that hasn't come to fruition. There are parts of it that have come to fruition. Yes, I am my own boss, so I can determine what I do with, my flexibility and so forth. And because I'm so engaged in building the business and doing the work that I'm doing, I find myself kind of back in the same old patterns that I have followed for much of my career, which is this deep love and fascination for the work that I do that eclipses everything else. And particularly in my situation where these things all have occurred in that kind of pandemic, post-pandemic period, where a lot of the structure of some of the other pieces of my life really were, went by the wayside in the pandemic, as it did for many, many of us, but I just haven't returned to them. So I don't have the same, I guess, commitments and obligations, or an obligation sounds negative, but in the sense I just don't have the same set of structure around me as the past. So that guardrail for my life has not been in existence. And so put that together with the demands of and my deep love of building my business and focusing on, my skills as a coach and all of those things, I do not have integration at this point. And therefore, something's missing, because as much as I love all of those other pieces, I know that there's something else missing that is really important to me. That when I say I want flexibility because I want to be able to do something in the flexibility, and that's missing. And try as I might to figure out, well, what is it exactly that I want to put into those spaces? I haven't been able to pinpoint that. And I don't like living like this. And I know from talking to other clients that I have that this is a similar issue for some of my clients. And I thought, well, okay, I'm not alone. This is something that other people are working through. So how can I go about fixing this? How can I go about exploring further in this area? And so one of the, there's many different ways you could go about this, but as I pursued what those might be in conversations with friends and family and so forth, an idea was suggested to me that I went, oh, I like this idea. I think this could be a good one. So the core of what I am going to do to try to bring about this greater integration, the framework or the structure behind it, is an idea that is coming from a course. The title is The Science of Well-Being. It's a free course, although if you want to take it for a credit, I think you do have to pay a little bit, but all of what I'm accessing is in the free version of things. The instructor for the course is Dr. Lori Santos, and she is a psychology professor at Yale. And this is taken from one of her very, very popular courses that she teaches to students at Yale. And I was first exposed to this in the pandemic period. She also has a podcast as well, which is very informative. So I was reminded of that recently as well. I didn't actually take the course during the pandemic when I was first introduced to it, but, listened to a number of things. So I know that I really like what she has to say. And I decided I'm going to sign up for the course and, see what I can do. Because really, what do I want? I want more well-being. I want the integration that well-being brings about. I want the happiness. Her podcast is called the Happiness Lab. Anyway, in the first week of the course, which I don't think I said this, but it is available on Coursera, and I'll put in the description box, the links of the things that I'm mentioning here so that you can, if you want to follow along for yourself, you can have access to them. Anyway, in the first week of her course, she introduces the taking of an assessment. It's from an organization called VIA. I don't know if it's VIA or VIA, but it's VIA, and the assessment itself is character strengths. So the idea is it's a pretty fast test or quiz that you can take. I think maybe half an hour worth of taking it. But what the assessment does is give you a list of your 24 character strengths. And in particular, what I'm looking at are, the top 5 character strengths. So these are areas where I think there are clues for, and in fact, in the course, the suggestion is where you can, get greater emphasis, you can utilize some of your strengths areas more, you're going to have a greater sense of well-being and happiness. And so what I have decided to do is explore those different strength areas for me. And the suggestion is try just, to use the top strengths in new ways and new little ways. And so I'm going to start with my top character strength, which I will read off the notes that I have here. My assessment says that mine is an appreciation of beauty and excellence. And the definition is noticing and appreciating beauty, excellence, and or skilled performance in various domains of life, from nature to art to mathematics to science to everyday experience. And so what I am going to do to start to explore how I can get a little bit more integration and balance in the work versus, some of these other areas of my life is in this next week, I'm going to try one small new experience that is connected to this strength area for me and see what happens after a week. And what I'm going to do is share those experiences with you and, come back to you in a week with what did I do and, what's the result of that. And honestly, I don't know what the result of it is. I do know that I have some challenges. They're good challenges in the sense that my business is growing. So I have more scheduled time with clients on the calendar. And so that's taking up quite a bit of, the time in the work, in the work week is what I meant to say. So it's going to be a challenge to see how do I fit this in, because my whole schedule has really been about building the business and doing all of those related activities. So this is going to be a new behavior for me. And we'll see where it goes from there. So I'm going to come back and share with you what's been the experience over the week. And if you would like to tag along in, just tuning in to, see what has happened, I'm happy for that. I'd be happy to have some companions along for the journey. So if you too want to take the VIA or the VIA character strength assessment, I'll put the link in the description box. I have no affiliate connection to it all. It's a free resource. But if you're interested in taking the free Coursera course, if you're interested in just having a conversation and chat with me, I'd love any of those places that you would like to comment. Are you in a similar circumstance? Are you looking for more? Maybe you're describing it as balance. Maybe you're describing it as integration, but you know that there's more than the current circumstance. Maybe you're feeling a bit stuck where you are. I'd love the company if you'd care to join me on the journey. So that's it for today. I'll be back with more next week. And in the meantime, do have a fabulous week ahead. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.